Howdy folks, welcome back to Smarter Money Matters, and it really does. And today we're going to have another Winning with Camarda segment and kind of talking about the differences between Camarda and most other advisors. And this is primarily for our clients, especially those that have been here for a while. You newer folks know why you came to us and all the differences that we bring to the table. But folks, that have been with us for a while may tend to forget and kind of just get used to it and not realize, we think, how much better you're off with the way we do it. So that's where we're going to begin. Of course, I'm Dr. Jeff Camarda, your wealth doctor, joined with super CFPs, Anna and Lou. So the first difference that Camarda brings to the table, which is really, really important, is we are what we call real or true fiduciaries. What does that mean? A fiduciary has a legal obligation to put your interests first, not trying to make money by selling product, maybe like a car salesperson or dealer, but to put you first as a fiduciary, right? Most people understand that concept. Most people don't understand that there are many advisors out there that have both fiduciary licenses and they have commission licenses. And why is that a problem, Lou? But we can speak from the Northwoods first.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so to us, we call that two-hat fiduciary, two-hat advisor, because they can appear to be a fiduciary when they're signing you up as a client, but then later on when they're potentially investing your portfolio into
they can switch hats.
They can switch hats,
and
you won't notice. Most likely, it's somewhere in deep, embedded deep in the fine print of their,
the stack of legalese that you get nobody ever reads.
And you'll never understand that they actually are making potentially commission or other ways of getting compensated outside of just that fee that they're showing you up front. As a fiduciary, there could be additional costs that you may not be aware of.
And you have anything to add to that, Anna?
I mean, yeah, we see this a lot with some of our, clients, newer clients that we bring, get from, they have assets at other firms. When we look at the statements and the way that they were invested and explain to them, hey, your previous advisor, had a broker's license, a commission license in addition to their investment advisory license, we can often see that in how the accounts are structured.
There's a lot of expensive stuff in there, right? They didn't know. That was completely under the radar. So that's where the danger is. It's, if I'm a two-hat advisor, it's like, gee whiz, are you a fiduciary? Yes. Do you charge fees? Very low fee, yeah. So I may give you a lowball fee, knowing that later, once I have your trust and you're not scrutinizing me anymore, I may switch hats and sell you some pretty expensive products.
Well, Jeff, you tell a story about your experience back in your early days when you were working with a client, and she had an advisor that was a two-hat fiduciary. And you kind of pointed it out to her.
And she didn't know it. Actually, it was probably maybe 15 years ago. I was not as young as they like to think I was.
You were younger.
But I'll call, yes, I certainly guess I was. And I'll call her Nancy, and she came to one of our seminars and met with me. I said, Nancy, one of the differences is we're real fiduciaries. She goes, oh, well, my guy's a real fiduciary too. I said, that's interesting. Where are they at? And she mentioned a prominent broker's name. And I said, that's interesting. That's mostly a brokerage house. They make most of their money in commissions and product goods. He goes, no, not my guy's a fiduciary. I go, okay, well, maybe. Let me look at your statements. As I look at the statements, I see there's $1 million in this annuity with this big life insurance company, right? And she put $1 million in, and the surrender value, that's the amount that she would get if she cashed out, was $900,000. And that's a big commission, right? This guy probably made $80,000 over lunch. And she had no idea this was happening. So Nancy says, Nancy pointed out, looks like you took a commission here. Something's got to be wrong. Would you call my advisor and straighten it out? And I go, all right. His name, I'll call him John. And we're on the phone with John. I go, John, I'm here with Nancy. And she thinks you're a producer. Oh, yeah, I've got a Series 65, an investment advisor. I go, but you're at XYZ firm. You're mostly a brokerage. Don't you have commission clients? Yeah, but not for her. Always have to do what's best for her. You don't make any commissions on her? No. And I go, John, what about this annuity? And he goes, oh, except for that. Right. He actually said that. Nancy was aghast. But this stuff, this kind of chicanery happens all the time. Anyway, not to belabor the point, but there's a difference. If you come to a fiduciary like an attorney or CPA or a physician, you're expecting to get the best of their advice without them trying to hustle something on the side that makes them more money. And we are the same way. With us, what you see is what you get. We're always laser focused on you without having any other compensation dog in the hunt. And by the way, that's the base of my academic expertise. My dissertation for my PhD was on advisor ethics and training and misconduct, malpractice. And I did a lot of research and published a lot of papers after that. And there's a very, very high correlation between complaints and fines and suspensions and settlements with advisors that are two-hat fiduciaries, have an advisor's hat, have an investment advisor's license and a commission license. And one final caveat, it's not just when you find the broker check, which we ought to talk about in a future episode. The also big conflict is they could have life insurance licenses. Oh, I'm a fiduciary. But you look on their website, we sell annuities, we sell life insurance, and these are some of the highest commission products out there. So you really got to be careful. Anyway, with us, we don't play that game. You know exactly what you pay. We're very transparent, and what you get. We're not looking to make any money off the recommendation. So the next difference, and why don't we start with you this time, Anna, is the training, and the credentials and the constant, teaching that we do here. Tell me, how does that, separate us from your experience as an advisor elsewhere?
Sure. So to get a investment advisor's license, right? Really, for a lot of people, it takes maybe a month or two of studying to get that license. There's no academic degree requirement, no higher education requirement, no experience requirement. So you could have somebody with, that's only studied a textbook providing investment advice. And I'm, unfortunately at prior firms that I worked with, I did have, coworkers where that was the case. Here, right, so Lou and I are certified financial planners, right, which is, a robust industry designation with many experience, education, and
it's a serious credential. It's really it's an important serious credential.
Yeah, and then, in addition, members of our team have other certifications, CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst. Obviously, Jeff is, has much experience and designation, but, we like to think, and we know what we are talking about. We didn't just, study for a couple weeks, take an exam, and then are advising clients.
And from my perspective, I think it's very important for clients to look for those designations because, if you're depending on someone to give you advice, it should be important that someone has credentials to prove that they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, and just let me kind of round it out. One of the credentials that I have is the Chartered Financial Analyst CFA, which is the CFP, which is where I started, the beginning of my education journey, which is so important, right? That's the grounding in retirement planning and estate planning and taxation and risk management and putting it all together in financial planning. If I'm not mistaken, those are the 6 modules, right? Which is a really important foundation, and investments also. And then beyond that, though, the CFA is the focused study of portfolio management, respected around the world, probably the most respected credential, really, really difficult to get. I'd say it was probably harder than getting my doctorate. It was really hard. Only 2% of advisors have the CFA, but gee whiz, if you're paying for investment advice on a commission base you don't know about, or fees, don't you want somebody that's studied, and can demonstrate that they've got the knowledge? Absolutely. And most don't. Only 2% have that. Remember, the actual investment advisor's license that Anna's talking about, you can get that quick. I got mine in a week back when I started as a full service broker, and I didn't know what I was doing. But I'm giving people advice, and I put that, in quotes, I'm making major, and I thought that's all I needed to know. And that really is the state of the industry, so you have to be careful. And beyond that, I've got a couple of other designations. I'm not going to trumpet them, but what's important, I think, besides the CFA, is also the fact that I went and got a master's degree at Georgetown Law School in tax, because tax really is, in my view, the master wealth skill. It's what hangs everything together. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you're losing a big chunk of it in tax every year, you're not going to get ahead nearly as quickly as you can. So anyway, that's point number 2. We have a lot of this to share with you, but we don't want to overwhelm you. So next time I'm going to talk about our total wealth care concept and how everything hangs together, and all that you get from Camarda besides just CFA level investment advice, but there's so much more to put everything together. Any final part of the comments?
No,
from the
I
Great
think
North Woods?
No, I think we covered it pretty well,
Right.
for those 2 points, and more to come in future episodes.
How about you from the Austin tent?
No, I think great conversation, and I think it's important for clients to see this and kind of remember what sets us apart.
Good. Well, that's great. And also, guys, so we're going to continue with this in the Winning with Camarda segments. And also, as a reminder, we have a new the wealth education mode called Minute Wealth, which you can see on. If you follow the Camarda Financial Facebook page, or on Instagram, or TikTok, or Twitter, and all kinds of.
No, you're good.
Anna, she really isn't feeling that well. I tease her, but she loves me, thank goodness. On these other social media platforms, 30-second or so very compressed bits of high quality financial education. We call it Minute Wealth. Please do yourself a favor. Take a look at it, follow it. We're doing one a day now. We have since January of this year. Be going to 2 a day pretty soon. So I think you'll find it very useful, and you might want to even share with your friends and family. A lot of valuable stuff there. Anyway, for now, this is Dr. Jeff Camarda, your wealth doctor, exiting out with our super CFPs, Just Lou and Just Anna. See you next time. Thanks for watching.